I am so happy that Nick is not mad at Natalie and is directing everything else at the ladies, because you're not raising your voice to my woman like that. Boy.
Yo. Really? Anyway, it's your girl Sherry with Alleged Actually, and I'm back. Listen, we already heard that craziness, so we know what time it is, right? It's Bravo Monday. So we're back to recap Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. But first, check out this intro. All right, guys. So look, lots going on, honey. Lots going on. Last night was the finale. I think it was pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was kind of anticlimactic on Nick's fallout with the girls. And actually, last night, he was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy. Y'all, Nick just fell flat on that. And I'm going to give him a pass because he's new, and that's his first time in the clubhouse. He brought his mom, so maybe he was feeling a little uptight. I don't know. But before we get all the way up into Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, let me just ask you guys one real quick favor. Go ahead and like this video. Over here, we do reality TV recaps, we do pop culture, and we are getting into doing some riveting, compelling interviews. We did one last week. It dropped on Friday. Miss Kim Duhan was my special guest, who was featured in the critically acclaimed documentary Silver Dollar Road that is currently streaming on Prime Video. Go watch it. Watch the interview. Get yourself all the way educated on heirs property, the fallout from that, what a family can go through when you don't legally spell out what you are leaving to your heirs. It's a very compelling story. It's also very sad. Yet there's something you can do to help that family. So please watch that video and watch that documentary. But for today, child, we got to get into it. Now, you see how Mr. Amir did, all happy that his messy girlfriend, Natalie, did not get all the smoke that she deserved. Y'all, I was so irritated that even amidst all the girls, and I mean, he drilled each one, and we talked about that last week. The fallout subsides this week. Bria walks out. She walks away from the conversation. Nick is just really in the mode of, look, I have to defend my character. And he's right. I mean, in this era of Me Too, it's not something that you take lightly when a woman says that you inappropriately touch her or unwanted touches. It's just not something you play with. So I was with Nick on that. I really was disappointed in the girls for that. Keep in mind, though, they were chit-chatting, doing girl talk. Sometimes, when you get with your girls, you do what you do. But I don't think they had any intention of taking that to his girlfriend, Tasha. That was all Miss Natalie, child. And old whipped Amir. Anyway, honey. So, basically, Bria thinks that Nick is getting away with bad behavior because of the way that he talked to her. So when she walks out, Simon comes up and is like, do you need me? And she's like, no. But they come back in, and eventually they have an understanding. Nick talks about, in his confessional, about how it is his reputation on the line, and his reputation precedes him in a good way. Honey, he wants everybody to know he is known in that running community, honey. He's known in them running streets. So, he don't play about that, and nor should he. Like I said, when someone calls your character in question, you have every right to defend that. And rightfully so, he was angry. So, but to let bygones be bygones, Noelle does apologize. Nick then also apologized for raising his voice. He says that, I don't think you've ever seen me get mad, so I apologize for raising my voice. Bria and him eventually get there. She leaves. Alex goes and retrieves her from upstairs, brings her back. And she's basically like, well, I really didn't say anything about you. I don't talk about you. And, I wasn't going to bring it to Tasia. Child, they pan back to her basically saying, if given the opportunity, Nick would sleep with one of them while he's in that space. And I guess by space, she means drinking, child. I don't know. But honey, to put Hansy Gate to bed, they all apologize. Preston is annoyed by Bria's behavior. Per always, child. When is Preston not annoyed with Bria? He calls her a child. And basically, though, they make up. They make up to the point where Nick is like, look, we don't have much longer in the house. I'm not the kind that's going to sit around here and hold on to this. He doesn't understand the lady's motivation, but he's clear on what was said. Maybe more importantly, what was not said. And he's ready to move on. Child, he even has an embrace with Bria, but I'm like, Nick, have you learned nothing? He's got a good heart, y'all, but I think I would have held off on that hug with Bria. I mean, Jasmine offered him some support, offering him a hug, because he seemed really hurt by it, rightfully so. And he was like, I don't even know if I should. And she's kind of like bringing in. Jasmine has really played the mother of the group. She did it last season, but this season she is, pregnant and expecting. And actually, she has taken on, the mother role. She's kind of fell back from the drama, and rightfully so. She's pregnant, and she has provided just a listening ear, and she's been very motherly. So there's that. So, honey, at this point, Summer had even chimed in before resolution saying, she was confused by the other girls having an issue because they never spoke about it. And she was like, each one of them said he's never touched her, so why were they talking? Again, I guess we could go on and on about it. I am annoyed. And what's funny, guys, I'm going to give you guys a clip of the ladies, Noelle, Jasmine, and Shanice. They went on live Instagram last week, and I got a little snippet of them talking about Miss Natalie.
But yeah, this conversation would not be had if other people i.e. Natalie, brought it up. Didn't take it upon herself to do that. That's why I'm pissed, because he didn't address it to Natalie in the kitchen like he did to Noelle and I, and we didn't even bring it up. But y'all were getting screamed at, and I'm devil's advocate right now. Y'all do understand that he's sitting in the house thinking what Natalie said. It's Noelle and Shanice. She never said I. So he's going into it thinking it's just y'all talking about it, and she's just this innocent person on the hammock. That's not how it went down. Now, do I agree with how he talked to y'all? Absolutely not. I don't tolerate anybody yelling at anybody else. We can all communicate. But him going in hot, I totally get why he addressed it to the room. For one, his character, two, off the information he was given. So on both sides, y'all were set up. I'm just saying. And the fact we talked about it for hours did not help.
Yeah. I very much agree.
We were in that kitchen like for hours. I think I was like close. I was getting so frustrated just standing there, and we were, oh my god. We were in that kitchen for at least 3 hours.
Yeah, but it's okay though. We're gonna pivot.
Now we're just getting harassed. It's okay. It was very.
Y'all, it's a buzz, honey. It's a no for me. It's been stated in the blogs that Amir is in his interviews saying if Natalie is not allowed to come back, he won't. Child, Miss Jasmine, the ladies are like, if that's the case, toodles, peace out, Amir. Look, one of the things that we love about Summer House Martha's Vineyard is you have this fabulous cast of intelligent, accomplished, worldly, coming with a good, to me, with a very good sense of self cast of Black young people that come together. And Amir, who was not raised by his black side, he's part Lebanese. And if I'm wrong, I will come back and correct myself because I found 2 things I did wrong. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear those up. Number 1, when I was talking about Freaknik, the history of Freaknik did not start with Hampton and Spelman. It was Morehouse and Spelman. Child, I get to talking and I legit don't know where stuff comes out of my mouth from. I've always known that. So y'all, rebuttal. Freaknik was started by Morehouse and Spelman. So, yeah, I don't know why I said Howard. Blonde moment. Anyway, so basically at this point, they've squashed it and they've moved on. And so Bria, you know, she's still ranting a little bit, but child, it is what it is. We're moving past it. Nick's a good one. Like I said, and when he was on Watch What Happens Live, Andy kept asking him questions about it because that's what we all want to know. Like, looking back, does he wish he had given Natalie more smoke? He says, yeah, he does. He was like, hindsight is 2015. But I still, child, we'll resolve that. I hope that it's really thoroughly discussed at the reunion next week. Something tells me, though, by the way he was answering Andy's questions, and by him I'm talking about Nick, of course, I don't know. I don't know if Nick is just not comfortable in that space or with that topic, but it was really, he answered the questions just really flat. If you haven't seen it, y'all, go back and watch it. It's on demand. I found it odd. I mean, Nick's a cool dude. I like his swag, you know, his style, I don't know, swag, but I like his style. You know, he was clean. He looked so well put together. But the way he was answering the questions were, to me, a little off. Very closed off. And like I said, he did have his mother with him in the clubhouse. So he could have been holding back and not really wanting to divulge too much with his mom sitting there. Child, I don't know. He was on there with Miss Margaret Josephs. We will get into her tomorrow when we do our Real Housewives New Jersey recap. Child. Anyway, so now we're going to get into the part where Miss Summer, or before we get into Summer, we're going to talk about the cast decides that they're going to come together and do a Fill the Space event. And this is an event by Nick. But before they get into that, it's time for Natalie and Simon to go. Bye, Natalie. Ciao. Amir even says as he's packing her up that he feels like his fun is leaving. And by that, he means when Natalie was there, he could actually let his hair down and have a good time without worrying about repercussions. And now that she's leaving, he's back to having to, you know, take it down a notch and watch how he moves. Ciao. I mean, rightfully so. He says that they're working on trust to the point that she wants to be comfortable enough, or he wants her to be comfortable enough, that when he comes back to the Martha Vineyard's house, and that's a big if, Amir, because you are working yourself right up out that house. If you continue with this woman, I am telling you, she has all the fans saying, no, ma'am, no, sir. Keep her over there. Y'all go jump on $1 Million Listing or whatever, honey. She says she makes more than you in real estate. Go on Netflix and get on one of them shows. Don't bring her to Martha's Vineyard, please. And thank you. Okay. But anyway, honey, yes, Simon and Natalie leave. You know, Bria's concern is that even though they've worked through some things, her concern with their relationship is that she feels like he may still not listen to her. And that if he continues to not listen, she may make some decisions that she doesn't want to make. Girl, listening goes 2 ways, okay? You need to listen too. And I don't know, yo. Okay, let me just speak on Bria too for a second. Yes, Bria does seem to be immature. And she does seem to be the common denominator in a lot of the arguments in the house. And they tend to put her in the zone of being childish. Yes, she has childish moments. And yes, she does seem to be in the mix of the arguments. She takes things and, you know, she gets loud and she gets, you know, she pops off real quick. You know, she easily offends, but in the same right, feels like she can come out of her mouth and say whatever to the others. I get it. I still think that there are others, like when we get to the confrontation that Amir has with the girls, where I was feeling her on that one. We'll get there. I feel like Preston particularly gives her a really hard time. I feel like it's something about Bria that triggers Preston. And I mean, he's been on his interview tour, if you will. He's done a lot of interviews with the podcast community. And I like Preston, but Preston is he's really giving mean girl vibes, mean guy vibes. You know, he doesn't have anything for Jasmine. And it's Bria. You know, it's those two that he continuously comes for. And Bria, I get. Jasmine, I don't. Particularly because Silas and him are frat brothers. And Silas was in his wedding. Preston was in Jasmine and Silas's wedding. And he says that despite the fact that he and Silas aren't even like that per se, that you wouldn't want someone that you're really close to be in your wedding because you want someone that's responsible and is going to show up. Sir, maybe you want both. Maybe you want someone that's responsible, that's going to show up, that's going to pay for their tux, pay for their dress, but that's also somebody close to you. So disagreement there. And y'all, I know I'm flying all over the place. But the finale, I just didn't want to do a scene-by-scene recap. I really wanted to hit the high points. And then I wanted to collectively come together and talk about how I really felt about the season. Because as you know, in the beginning, I was on the fence on whether I was going to pursue this as a regular recap. And feedback I got from a very faithful subscriber was to keep giving it a chance. I'm glad I did. Because there's a lot of elements to it I absolutely love. There are some others I don't love, but I think that we'll get there. This is only their second season. And I did tell you guys, I do watch the other Summer House, but their dynamics are very different. And I will explain to you what I mean by that. So, at any rate, they get Simon and Natalie off. And then back at the house, the girls are in the kitchen. They're starving, eating leftovers. And that's when Alex is getting ready to pick up his friend Josiah, who's a musician. And this is when he talks about his Fill the Space event. And we all know that Alex is a talented singer and musician. That's his thing. You know, that's his niche. That's what he wants. I think he's very good at it. He's very talented. Beautiful voice. And he explains that the Fill the Space event is something that he became a part of or learned about in New York. And it's in their music community. And for this particular event, they're going to the lighthouse and they're going to sit out there and they're going to, you know, sip, paint, and be serenaded by none other than Alex, his brother, and his dear friend Josiah. And so the vibe is good. You know, he's all about good vibes, you know, wanting to be a time for reset because they've had this big fallout and this long drawn out argument, honey, on Hansygate. They finally done got past that. Everybody's chill and that's what they want. And then he makes the comment that this event is for the invited and uninvited. They pan back to that scene where Jordan's like, well, you didn't invite everybody. And the infamous Summer saying, yeah, you didn't invite the person that you were inside of. Child. So this time he says that, you know, no one got left off the list. And he's like, I brought you back in. So guys, now we're back with Jasmine and Noelle, and they're back in Jasmine's room. And Noelle is still talking about how she's feeling about Summer and the fact that she feels that Summer is not moving genuinely, and that despite the fact that she has apologized, Noelle is still falling back and keeping her space. And she says basically she just doesn't trust her. She's like, I trust her as far as I can throw her, and I'm not throwing anything bigger than 30 pounds. And we all know Miss Summer's a little heavier than 30 pounds. I can't say I blame Noelle. Noelle seemed to have come in really feeling like they had a friendship and that they were girls. And I don't think Summer was invested in the friendship as much as Noelle was. I think that Summer was extremely turned off by Noelle's pursuit of Alex. And though we're not going to make Summer's issues about Alex, because we all know that it's way deeper than that, I am going to say that I really feel like with her, particularly with the state of mind that Summer has been in on this season, that after that, I think she just wrote Noelle off. And I think Noelle could pick up on that energy. So I can't say that Noelle is wrong for kind of falling back. Let her work through what she needs to work through. But in the meantime, protect yourself, sis. I'm not mad at that. So they go on over, basically, to the event. So we have Alex, his brother, and Josiah, and they're singing. And their songs are supposed to inspire the artwork. And child, he goes into waves, waves, waves. So, what do they paint? Waves. Or a lot of them did. So, they all paint. And, Shanice is like, this is totally not my vibe. Shanice would rather be somewhere half naked with a drink in her hand. So, I could see how it's not her vibe. Nonetheless, the gang gets together, they paint. Alex serenaded them. It's very, very zen and peaceful. They're doing the little snaps while they each one unveil their paintings, kind of what it meant. And one that stuck out for me, of course, was Summer's. She had like a blue, red, and then a white part of her canvas where she was saying it was about transitions, going from light to dark. And that was really speaking to, I think, the space that she was in, and that in life, you transition back and forth. And so, I feel for her. I can't imagine being in a setting where everybody's there to kind of have fun and wild out, and to be so sad and in such a dark place. And ultimately, this is what will lead her to her decision that we will get to shortly. But so basically, they all finish that. They have a good time and they head back to the house, and it's time for everybody to go to bed. But before that, Summer summons Jordan and Preston up to the room. She texts them to come up and to bring her some water. And that's when she reveals to them that, look, no matter what she's done, she's still in a very heavy spot, heavy place. She starts to cry. I mean, you could just feel the sadness, the heaviness that she was feeling. Her Nana is still on her mind, the things with her mom. She's just not in a headspace to be there. And she lets Preston and Jordan know that she's going to go home. Now, guys, keep in mind, there's only 2 days left out of the trip. But I think she's done all she can do. And the fact that she made the conscious decision to not drink because of her mind state, which I think was a great idea. I think the fact of taking a moment back and not indulging maybe let her see that she wasn't okay and that she needed to go home and really take some time to get herself together. So I think that that was actually a very good move for Summer. And Preston, of course, offers, his support, and he tells her he's going to be there for her no matter what. And Jordan also provides her support and talks to her that, that she was saying that even though she hurt other people that, and it wasn't her that was hurt, she still felt that she was in a space, and Jordan let her know that all involved were hurt and that it's okay to acknowledge that, to acknowledge her own pain. And Jordan said that she wished she had stuck around to work through things with those in the house, but she certainly understood, honey, because sometimes when it's time to go, it's just time to go. So, she's made her decision, and so they're supporting her. And honey, we go on to the next day. And I don't know what it is, y'all, about this season. Everybody's getting ready. And here comes Preston's hind parts out again. Child, what are these? Like, are these buttless underwear? Are they thongs? What? I don't know. But he is fully comfortable letting his hind parts be out in the cameras. So be it. But they're all getting ready for their day. And Amir and Nick are going to go golfing, or more importantly, they're going to hit the driving range. Child, they both admit they're not very good at golf, but let's be clear. This was Amir's time to get Nick out of the house, to kind of test his temperature, to see how he was feeling about Natalie and the Natalie Tasia thing and the girls. And so they head out, and while they're golfing, he does ask Nick basically what the girls said. And Nick's like, listen, the girls basically told me it was Natalie. That Natalie was the one that wanted to bring it to Tasia. They didn't. And the truth was that she was messy. And of course, Amir's like, oh, nah. In the confessional, nah, Tasia not saying that Natalie's hands were clean because, she was a girl's girl. She wanted to bring it back to Tasia because those 3 girls were going to tell her, and she just wanted to give her heads up so that she wasn't blindsided. Now, y'all, were we watching the same show? Because no, ma'am. Was it or was it not Miss Natalie's idea to talk to Tasia about it? Not one time did those 3 girls say, despite they were talking about it, and of course it was going to be on camera, so she would have seen it. But at no point did they say that they were going to confront Tasia and tell her what was going on. Or even to me, what they said was speculation. He hadn't done anything. So, Amir, own that your girl is messy. Stop trying to take up for her. That was off-putting. Nick, you are crazy, because if you can't see through that, sir. Really? Anyway, so we go on back. Summer's getting ready to go. She's saying her goodbyes to everybody, and she wants to speak to Bria and Shanice. But before that, she does ask, where's Noelle? Noelle is upstairs sleeping. And so she goes on out and she talks to Bria and Shanice, and she tells them that she's sorry that she hurt them, and that she was going to take some time to just go back and kind of reset herself. And basically, Bria was like, it really wasn't you, it was your energy. Like, you need an energy cleanse. And she said, honey, that's exactly what I was going to do. So at this point, she gets a chance to say goodbye to everybody except for Noelle, who's still upstairs sleeping, and then Nick and Amir. And so she does go, and everybody sends her off. And Preston does let Amir and Nick know that Summer has made the decision to leave. So everybody's now knowing. Then, child, we going over to the girls, and I'm only going to make this a quick little add-in, because I thought, child, when the girls had the soulmate conversation, and they asked Bria if Simon was her soulmate, and she was like, oh, no, my soulmate's in Tribeca. Child. And Jordan was like, who is this? And even the producer, and she was like, oh, no, I'll never, I'm not going to say. She does go on to say that she does think Simon is her person, but she doesn't feel what they have, though it's a connection, is like a soul thing, not a soulmate. And I was like, girl. Anyway, child, just when we thought it was done, later that evening, Amir wants to confront the girls about what they said to Nick about Natalie. And what irritated me was, now you gonna say something, they done squashed it, everybody done talked about it, it's about to be like the night before the last night that they're there, and here he comes again with that mess. And Bria, now she's cooking, and he keeps saying, you know, what was said, and she's trying to tell him that it was Natalie that said she wanted to bring it to Tasia, and, you know, and then he's like, stop hollering, and she's like, I'm not, and it's back, and he's like, stop yelling at me, and the whole thing was so crazy. And he gets mad, walks outside, she's mad, they're trying to tell her to just, you know, take a breath, count to 10, all that. And even with him engaging in the fact that, look, your girlfriend was messy. She was messy. Stop defending her. Like, really. And that's basically what Bria said. Now, that and that alone, y'all, I'm going to give her my full agreement. Yeah. Messy. Very messy. So, at this point, then we're going to jump around to the pool scene with Bria and Noelle. They went out to kind of talk. And child, that's when Mr. Milo gets missing. Producers let the dog walk right by him. They were in the pool. She had Milo on a floaty. He gets out, runs out the gate. They spend 36 minutes looking for the dog. But what that does show you is that despite their arguments, because even Amir, when he got back, he joined in quickly on the search, that they all do care. You know, that they're all caring for each other. They're friends. Some are closer than others, but they all care about each other, honey, because Preston, everybody was looking for Milo because they know how Bria feels about her fur baby. So there you have it. And so the way we close it out, the gang gets together for one last really nice dinner on the water. Everything is set up really beautifully. Jasmine makes sure that everyone's not sitting with who they're the most comfortable with. Like, she puts Bria beside Amir, and she kind of mixes it up. And what I thought was really funny, y'all, was the game where they had to impersonate their fellow housemate, whichever one they pulled, okay? My top faves, I liked how Bria did Jordan. That was funny. Y'all, and I had to give it to Amir when he impersonated Shanice. He was spot on, child. That was funny to me. Noelle, she had Alex down as well. It was a fun little activity they did. And then they did one last kind of around the room where they were saying things that they may want to change, or, you know, reflections. Miss Sour Jordan said she was changing nothing because last year she was focused on all the things that she did wrong, and this time, you know, she wasn't going to do that. And so, child, looks like Jordan is still Jordan. So, and this is basically how it ends. I mean, Jasmine ends up, when they get back to the house, in the confessional, kind of doing her last thoughts about, you know, being in the house last year, how they came together as newlyweds and finding their way with being in the house with their friends as newlyweds and navigating the housemates and bringing everybody together. And this year it was just her by herself, and she was pregnant, and that Silas was thousands and thousands of miles away. And the group comes in with her in the confessional and gives her support. And basically they talk about that overall they had a good time, that Martha, they did their thing, and, you know, it was a wrap from there. And from the end of the show, they did show where Jasmine gave birth to a beautiful little boy, Silas Jr., and Silas was able to come in, surprise her, and be there. Y'all, that was a touching moment. It was. So, overall, my thoughts. And you guys, I want you to engage with me and put in the comments what you thought. As a season as a whole, it was okay. Like I said, it started off slow for me. And I think it was because, again, I was looking at it through the lens of, they reminded me more of my college days and all that. And that's not bad. Actually, that's a beautiful thing. College was a wonderful time in my life. And there was things that resonated with me going to an HBCU. I loved how they explained the Divine Nine and the Black sororities and fraternities, the Black Greeks and Freaknik, and all that's part of my culture. And it's good to know that this generation understands it, embraces it, and loves it, and brought it to the masses with respect, and they did a good job with that. I think that this cast is going to go on for another season. I think Noelle was a great addition. I know she has some moments that got on people's nerves. The whole thing with when she jumped in with the other two on Nick, and, you know, that wasn't her finest moment. Her groveling over Alex probably wasn't her finer moment, but she's a sweet girl and a good addition to this cast. Changes. I would love to see them not bring Natalie back. And if Amir really does not want to film without her, then it's fine for him to go. Really, it's fine. I don't like that dynamic. I did not like how that was mixed up. Now, who I did like is Miss Tasia, honey. That is a very well put together young lady, honey, with a lot of class. And I think she's perfect for Nick. I'm going to keep him all the way together. I'd like to see her come back to the house more. Child, Bria and Simon are a hot mess. But let's be clear. They keep it exciting, as does little Milo. So overall, guys, I'm going to say I was glad I stuck in there and finished out the season. It was a good one. The reunion will air next week, and I will be there to recap that. So you come on back next Monday for that. Tomorrow, I'm going to drop The Real Housewives of New Jersey, because that also aired yesterday, and I will do my recap on them tomorrow. So come back tomorrow for Real Housewives of New Jersey. And do me a favor again, guys, because we are still trying to pursue our goal of 5,000 subscribers. We are still growing, and we have you to thank. So please go ahead and hit that like. Go ahead and share with the masses. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified, because we're going to keep bringing you that good content. I have some more interviews lined up, so I want you guys to stay tuned for that. I'll be revealing the next big one I have. I'm excited about it, and you're going to be excited about it. Still, y'all, catch that replay on that interview with Mrs. Kim Duhan. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. So, guys, I have nothing else but to tell you thank you, as always. And come on back tomorrow with me so we can chop it up about The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Put in the comments, y'all, what you think of the season. Did you agree Noelle was a great addition to the cast? What do you think about Miss Natalie and Amir? Should she come back? What do you think about him saying he wouldn't come back without her? And overall, just Summer and where she was this season, and whether you think she should come back next season. Put it in the comments. As always, guys, I appreciate all of my actualizers, my family out there. Thank you so much for supporting our channel and for being there faithfully. Just like I said, when you find something good, share it with your family and friends. So please do. And I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye, guys.